Welcome to my crib.
Welcome to the SLEWs. Nice, man.
What's up?
All right. Welcome back to Art Gem Interviews. Today we're here with Mr.
SLEW.
And your first name is Sam, right?
Yes.
Which is kind of funny because my name's Sam too.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two Sams.
Cheers.
Baby.
So I have a few questions for you today. It's an honor to be here in your SLEWdio, I guess you could call it. And so my first question for you is, how did you get into art? And how did you create such a professional level of it?
Well, I mean, going back, maybe you know, it was just graffiti, really into graffiti.
Yeah.
And just like watching YouTube videos and then doing graffiti, but more specifically like graffiti characters. So the character aspect, and then I started doing my own characters with spray paint.
Yeah.
That sort of led to like canvases, just like kind of creating wacky characters. And then all just continued to snowball for years and years. Slow snowball.
Yeah.
But then that turned into more like human anatomy, traditional art, and then like oil painting. And then that's kind of the origin story and where we're at.
So for people who don't know you, you're known as SLEW, an artist who paints. You're really into oil painting, right? And I think that's so interesting because a lot of artists today are really into like spray paint and acrylic paint and creating fast paintings. And you're more about that slow, traditional, like archaic process.
Yep.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Totally,
And,
I love that. I mean,
how
like,
that inspires you?
Yeah, I'm a huge nerd for that. And like that's because I was totally into the murals. Like I wanted to do huge murals. Like we were just talking about 1000 and Kipto. Like I looked up to those guys or other YouTubers and anyone doing street art. Like, wow, look at how big and epic that is.
Yeah.
But then as I slowly like got more interested in like being a technical like craftsman, and what I mean by that is like doing portraiture and like painting naturalistically. And then I dropped out of Parsons to go to an atelier, which is like a traditional painting, sculpting, drawing studio, where it's like heavy fundamentals, heavy traditional fine art. And then through that, I like fell in love. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think that like the traditional aspect of like my oil painting practice, because I still do the wacky other stuff, which I love, but like it's such, it's such,
dial in.
yeah, it's a world of like, it's like a world of hierarchic like rules. Like there's fundamentals. There's like not a correct way to draw an eye or portrait, but there's like these rules that have been built over time to help you succeed in that, you know, exactly. So like there is technically a wrong and right way to do things, and I like that. It's like a language, you know, it's like, and so for that reason, it's like this practice that is, you could practice forever, and it's more of like a personal practice. Like I don't really care about showing things in galleries or even selling my oil paintings. It's more just like really fun, and then like I can make videos about it.
Sure.
Sorry to rant.
No. I appreciate all the insight.
Ready for the rants.
No, the insight is amazing. So you talked about changing paths a little bit, dropping out of a school to go to a different school.
Yep.
How does change influenced you?
Change. Those changes or change in general?
Yeah, like how have you found change to influence your art or your life? Like making changes in your life, making big changes in your life?
Yeah.
You find positive outcomes from that?
I think only looking back can you see if it's positive or negative, but like I've totally made, specifically within my career, I've made some pretty gnarly impulsive moves that are huge changes. For one of them is dropping out of my original college to live at home and work at a restaurant. I worked at a restaurant for like 2 years. That was just like out of nowhere. Then I decided to build. That
inspires you too in a way, you know?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, what do I actually like to do? I actually like to do painting. This was
so that like gets you on
before my old studio. And then I made that old studio, and that was like a huge move. And then fast forward, leaving Parsons, like
So how has art influenced your life? Like being an artist and creating art on a daily basis, weekly basis, how has that influenced your life?
Good question. I think that, I don't know, it's exciting. Like it's something I'm lucky. I think that I know what I really like, and it's like I said before, it's like this continual practice. So, you know, as much as it's like work, it's also like really fun, and I don't know how it's affected my life really, other than it's just what I do, what I'm into, and
It's your passion.
yeah, it's my passion. It's like
Sure.
it's very like what's the word, like it's such a it's such a big scope. Like once you get into the nuance of anything,
Yeah.
you know, there's amazing juiciness, but like within painting and making, you know, it's like there's forever things to do. There's forever things to improve on and try
Sure.
and experiment. So it's kind of like an encompassing good path in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
like challenge yourself, new experiences, but also hunkering down and evolving on what you've done before. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. So you're also really into videography and creating like movies, basically. I mean, I noticed it's something that you talked about. You have your own podcast. The name of it is
SLEWniverse.
SLEWniverse. And one of your guests, the great 1000.
Yes.
Now I know you guys talked about how art is kind of a vessel for your YouTube videos, and how art kind of plays as a content into your videos.
Yep.
So my question for you is, what do you find more important, or what do you find more engaging or inspiring, to create your videos or to create your art?
That's a really good question, and that was like my favorite conversation from that podcast, because I think he agreed, and a lot of other people who do specifically like art for YouTube agree, where it's like, yes, we're making art, but the art is also the video. And to answer that question, I think that the painting and the art is like, in a weird way, selfish to me, where it's like I just love to do it, and it's very entertaining and wonderful for me to execute. And then the video is kind of like for people to enjoy, and it's like the thing that I'm showing. I'm not like, I know that's like so counterintuitive.
You have to promote your work to get it out there.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
also it's like that's like how I'm displaying my art. You know,
Right.
like I don't want people. It's weirdly personal. Like if a gallery represented me, I'm sure I say yes. But like I don't want to show my work at a gallery. Like it's for me. But the video and the process is
Yeah.
what I want to share.
Right.
And so then that's through the video, and then that's where you could get creative also and have a piece of work in itself, kind of.
Yeah, because I know you love to storytell and
Exactly.
like make a whole production. You know, you have a production studio here.
So it's like the story of the making of. Yes,
Yeah.
the final painting is awesome. I want people to like it. I want to like it, of course. But it's
Yeah.
like it's the process is what I want to share.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
So
That's what I.
yeah. So going off that, you have a beautiful studio here.
Thanks.
You know, all this production area, and I'm sure you've gone through different studio spaces and painting areas and you know, places that you produce. How has being in this wonderful space influenced your work differently?
Well, good question. I literally just posted a video about like this space, and it's all like a space is just should be a functional environment to produce work, you know, like, and so it's different for every person. I painted in my small bedroom for years. I painted my small apartment in New York on my bed in my garage, and then I got more studio space. But for me now, this space is, yes, a production studio. So we do photos, videos. It's the home base for my YouTube, you know,
Yeah.
like we have a podcast studio, also my painting area, a bunch of floor space to do other random projects and collaborate. So like all of, yes, it's like
Your
pretty,
whole photography.
yeah, it's extravagant and it's a lot and it's in excess, but it serves the function for what I'm doing now
Yeah.
and
No,
at the
I don't
scale
think-
I am.
I don't think it's excess at all. I think it's part of your art, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own art, and everyone shows their art in their own way, you know?
Totally.
And even your studio space here, even walking in, is art, you know?
Yeah, no,
How you set
exactly.
up your space, and
It is, but it's like it's served like I'm saying that for myself because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh, is this like, did I bite off more than I can chew? Is this too much? Like because it's a lot of money on the back end, utilities, but it serves the function. You just have to remember like what function it serves. Is it helping you produce like the bigger scaled work? And that's just where I'm at, and so far it's done that, and I'm super lucky
Yeah.
to have it. Yeah.
yeah. And how have you found like time management, or, you know, you have all these things going every week. How do you find, what's your best tips for time management and creating a schedule for yourself?
Well, if you have any, let me know. People always say, like my friends and family are like, oh, it's so amazing you could balance all this stuff and no one's in charge of you and you have to make all this time. And yeah, that's true. And like, I've been doing it for like 5 years. Like the last job I had was in like 2015 at the restaurant, and then I've just been working for myself.
Yeah.
But like it's also the biggest thing I struggle with. It's like I'm my own boss.
Right.
All the success is on my shoulders, but also the adversity. So like I could slack off as much as I want. I could also work myself into the ground and burn out as much as I want. So it is really hard, and I don't know if I have an answer of how I do it. It's just, you know, you got to be on top of it. And again, it's not like maybe if you were flung into this life or anyone else who like started a business and have all these other things, like it would be a lot, but you just chip away at it and you learn over time, and it's just
You build on.
And the responsibility. It's not like I'm working like harder than anyone in the world, you know. It's just do what I do, but no one's like there's no pressure making you do it. So that's the hard part. You have to like kind of like consistently follow through with things, or else nothing will get done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to your painting studio over there, we can show some shots, you know, like
Yeah,
around.
you can do some B-roll.
Yeah, we could show some B-roll right here.
Hell
You know.
yeah.
So while you're painting and when you're in the flow,
Yes.
how do you find yourself, like, how do you get into that flow and in that creative process where you're like really in it?
It's a good question. People talk about that a lot, and I don't know if I ever find like it's never just like a switch. It's more like, and this is something else that like I think is like a misnomer. It's like my job a lot of time is editing, blah blah blah. But when you're painting as a job, like that switch should be always on. You know, like you just gotta work. You have to sit down for hours and hours a day, all the time. And so, whatever gets you into that, it is what it is. Like at some point, it's just a job. It's just work. It's not like some creative like hyper fever dream, which everyone wants. But you know what I do is like I'm really good at like not scheduling, but like being meticulous about when I'm working, and kind of like being fully focused. So throw on a podcast, get my setup ready, and I pretty much work in like 2-hour sessions. So I'll do 2 hours straight. I mean, this is loose. Take a break. I mean, I'll take a break whenever I want, but like paint for at least 2 hours or do whatever, editing for 2 hours, relax, go back, do it again. That's generally how long my podcasts are. Like I listen to a shitload of podcasts.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of like comedy ones, like Bad Friends, Tiger Belly, like a lot of those guys, all of Rogan's friends, but like Lex Fridman.
Joe Rogan's such a controversial figure, but personally, I love his podcast.
Yeah, me too.
He had one with Snoop Dogg, and I just loved it so much.
Yeah, I don't think he's that controversial. I mean, he is in the news right now when we're filming this, but I just don't think people really watch him. But
yeah,
I mean, he's just a podcast. That's it. I'm just entertaining people. I love like science and space. So he has a lot of cool like astrophysicists, and I watch Lex Fridman, who is like really crazy, awesome scientists. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, let me ask you, how do you get into, like, do you have some ritual where you flick on a switch and get into the zone? Flip it on you, Sam. Like,
I mean, no, I mean, I'm an artist too. I love to paint and paint murals and everything. But like, I find like painting is such a process where you can't be rushed. You know, there's no rushing in painting. And like, that's what I love about it, because you gotta stay in the moment. If you're not in the moment, nothing's gonna get done, because you're like, you can't think about all the other things. You just got to start building up the tones and like going from there, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I love about painting, and I'll just take a session and I'll just be like, all right, like at least for murals, like the sun's still up, I'm still painting,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
The sun comes down, I'm done painting. Like, so for me, it's just like staying in that mentality of like laser focus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a great thing, especially when you're making things. Like, again, not to be this like creative hippy-dippy person, but I think it's a different sort of focus when you're excited about something and then it's you making it like for you. Like that focus is so natural and exciting. And we're ranting. Pass the sticks back.
We got a few more questions.
Okay.
So you've done a lot of projects in your day. You see them on your YouTube videos, your processes. What's one of your favorite projects you've ever completed?
Okay, it's a good question. I don't normally like the favorites question because they're all my children. No, but I got an answer.
One of your most passionate.
Yeah, so this one right behind you, that big stencil project, which is also my tattoo right here. So that was like the second time I did this stencil system. I call it like the 4-layer stencil, and
the video was awesome.
Thanks, bro. And that's like the one video that blew up to like explode my channel. But
beautiful. It's cool to see it in person too. Sorry to interrupt,
No, you're
but
good.
very cool to see it in person. I mean, it's such a different experience to see art in person. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
see it online, cool.
It is different. It is
Like-
different. That's the one regret. It's like I wish people could see it in real life, but
I mean, that's our world today.
Yeah,
And that's
know.
not on you.
Yeah, no, I know. But that was like a really, really big, ambitious project that like
Yeah.
came out of nowhere, and I was like, let me make this really detailed, like this system of stencils. Did that, and then I was like, let me do it 6 times on this giant canvas I stretched. So that's like very memorable in terms of having a plan, pushing myself to some ambitious goal, and then following through and executing it. And so like that will forever be like one of those projects that leveled me up.
Yeah.
You know,
You feel accomplished too. You're like, yeah, hell yeah.
100%,
Like, I got
because
that.
It was methodical. It was
Yeah.
planned. Like it wasn't perfect, but I finished it, made the video, and it came out great. And it's like extremely
Hell yeah.
special in that way.
Yeah. All right, my last question for you, SLEW. For aspiring artists,
Yeah.
aspiring YouTubers, which are very different, by the way.
Sure.
Aspiring artist and aspiring YouTuber. You're both. What advice can you give to both parties?
Okay, so I think there's similar themes in both parties. One, everyone, and if you don't think this, you're lying, because it's innate in our culture. It's like you want people to like your art when you start making art, or you want to be really talented, you want to be able to draw whatever. And then same with like YouTube, you want people to watch your videos, you want subscribers, you want views. And if you start both of those things with the intention of getting likes and follows and people watching your videos, or becoming the best drawer ever, I think you are setting yourself up for failure. And it's such a cliche way to say it, but like you want to be just excited to make YouTube videos because it's fun, or you want to share something. You want to start painting or drawing because you want to paint your shoes, or you like portraits, or you want to do abstract whatever because it internally is making you excited and happy. And then building on that for years.
Yeah.
And then maybe, you could have success in YouTube, or you could be able to draw whatever you want. But like things don't come overnight, and it's like such the bitter truth. And so, but like if you have passion and you have like a drive, and this is it sounds so like cliche to say, but like all of that would come, because
It's true.
it's for me, dude. It's like I started for almost 4 years of doing it full time YouTube, and I never made a cent, you know, and I was just loving making the videos. And at one point, sure, I thought I could make money and like it could be something, but it still didn't happen for like years.
Yeah.
But I just kept doing it, and then it came. And like the world is crazy now with TikTok and all the information online. So like if you want to do something, do it because you're into it, not because you want like money and fame. And I think those are the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that bad advice?
No, that's great
That's
advice.
a rant.
Yeah. That's all I got. The mic's yours if you want to say anything else, if I missed anything.
This is awesome. I love these podcasts. It's the first podcast we did in the center of the room. Sam's the man. He was trying to come here for a while over the summer when I built, but everything was crazy and it didn't work. But I'm glad he's here. I
was in
appreciate.
Williamsburg for a little bit. I was
Yeah.
hitting you up responding to your stories, all cool stuff.
I know, and I saw you, and you hit me up. Like I remember seeing you. We were trying to do that mural.
Boston.
Yeah, in Boston. Yeah, I remember you, and I'm glad you finally came. Sorry it took so long, but
No, you're a busy man.
Sam's a grinder, also painter. Nothing but love.
Respect, bro.
Respect.
Dude.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
What's it called?
This is the Art Gem interviews.
Art Gem.
Art Gem interviews.
Art Gem
Started with
interviews.
A friend of mine in college named Max White. Awesome guy, and we brainstormed this idea to come up with this idea to interview artists and highlight their creative craft and what makes them an artist gem.
Artist Gem, baby. I guess I'm that. That's like the nicest accolade ever.
You're a good man. Keep up the great work, SLEW.
Back at you, bro.
Great to meet you.
You too, man.
Respect. Bonus question. SLEW, Sam, how did SLEW come about? How'd you make the name SLEW?
Well, I didn't really make it. My friends did. My name is Sam Lewis. So at boarding school, my friends would call me Slewis. And then that evolved to SLEW. Sam
it.
Lewis, SLEW.
It all evolves.
Yeah, and then that's what I wrote for graffiti. And it just became my moniker because it was just my nickname. So pretty.
Got you. I forgot to ask you that question, and I feel like it's an important one. So
Yeah. People are like very underwhelmed when they find it out, but.
no, it's a good name.
SLEW.
SLEWniverse.
Dang. I'm sweating.